All right, in this video, showing you how to take a hand cut template and converting it into a digital format. This is for 1990 YZ250, and this is something that Carter's been working on. And so now that we've got the artwork or the tracings, we'll go ahead and scan. I already scanned in two pieces, but I need a third piece to complete it. So I am doing a preview first, and I should probably show you how to get there. I started recording this without audio and forgot. Okay, so that's fine. You want to do the preview so you don't get this white boundary box between them. It's really annoying. So I'm hand positioning the scan so I don't get this outside edge. It really complicates things if you don't do it right. And once this transfers in, I'll show you how to get to the scan. I'm using Flexi 11 right now instead of 21 because for some reason it wasn't linking up to the to my scanner, and I'm not quite sure why that is, but I'll figure it out by the time you actually have to use it. So now I've got the three pieces. So yeah, it was file, acquire image, Twain acquire, and that brings up the scanner interface. And usually if it doesn't show up, you go to acquire image, Twain select, and then it brings up the available scanning drivers. I am not sure why this is not working in version 21. It may be something that's they missed in their port over to 64-bit. I don't know. I can try experimenting with the 32-bit and maybe that's it. So we've got these three pieces, got to puzzle piece them together. What I like to do is take any one of them and click on the fill and stroke editor to the blending mode and change the opacity to the 50%. And that gives you the ability to see the thing a little more clear what you're doing. And you're going to look for, you just nudge it until it starts to get sharp. And it did get sharp there. And not everything's going to be sharp. It's going to be out of focus because it's out of phase. So I take it to a sharp focused area, and then I rotate it until it gets in phase with itself. And that's pretty good. And then I can move this guy in here and rotate it as well. I'm just taking a point, moving the vertice over until I find something that lines up like so. Again, I'm going to go with this point right here and rotate until those line up and I get them in phase. Just keep nudging, using the arrow keys to nudge to get a tighter, and then probably zoom in just to see what's going on. Okay, that's tight. And then up here it's off, so I'll go ahead and put my focal point down there and then come in, zoom in, and then rotate that control node, and that's pretty good. So now I've got three elements, so I'll change the opacity back to 100%. Move this one to the back because it's got all this weird stuff, and that's good. So now what you do is go ahead and hit rasterize image. So rasterize, 3072 dpi is fine. And now that it's this, we can go ahead and take the tracing tool and just mouse over the whole thing, pull that over to the side. We'll keep this for reference. I'm going to save this out under graphic hits. So we'll go into graphics, and then Yamaha, and then we'll call this, I don't have a part number for it, we're just going to call it YZ1990, and then pull it in here, and then YZ1990, save it, and then you can delete this outside edge. This dashed line is a reference line for a pocket that exists on the plate, so I'm just going to reproduce it. Just drawing it out real quick. It doesn't have to be super accurate because we're not really going to use it for anything, but it is a reference point for, and see here I'm just going to continue on. I'll come back to that in a second, and it's not important that that exists. And it kind of just blends off, and then give it a stroke that one can see, and you can do a dash if you want, and give it a color like so, and like I said, we're not using this for anything but a reference. So on this point, it's okay to have that, but if I wanted it to capture that hole, I just take a circle, make it relatively the same shape, size, like so. And this is actually not going to work because it's not closed. So I'd have to close this path. If I do that, now I can do this Boolean operation, punch it out, and then separate the fact, and then I can just use the scissors. Where are they? Where are the scissors? There they are. And just trim that out too, and then delete the path in the middle. That's good. I've got that. So now I'll just take these holes, this outside edge, and that path I just created, the cyan path, and we'll move it out. It's a lot easier to grab this than to grab all that, try and isolate these. So just, work smarter. Now this is not ready. It has to be cleaned up. So we'll go ahead and start with the corners, and we're going to give them a radius. And I use the Optimize by Arc tool first because it creates some weird tension. So it's going to go ahead and get those tensions in there before we do any. See how it just did that weird flip? So I'll go back and do this. And I'm just giving all the corners a nice little radius. So you don't want square corners. Nice little smooth. So you can see that it'll flip right here. It's just inherent of this tool. I don't like it, but it is what it is, and it does a nice smooth arc. So I'm gonna arc this corner right here too. The rest I can do curve optimization, but I'm go straight to the straight tool, the straight path tool. And some of these lines are just, they should be straight, but just because it was all hand cut. Although this one, that's probably too much. So I'll use this curve path optimization. Just come in here, and where I joined here, there's most likely a flip. So I'll just come in here and straighten them out so there's no flipped paths. And that's that. I don't know why. All right, no, let's stay. That's it. Bye, thank you. Okay, and then so just coming in here and trying to keep the integrity of the template, but smoothing out the lumps like so. Probably here too. Do that. Good enough. Here. So you want to be careful. Sometimes these paths will have the tension where they're out like this and you don't notice it. So just make sure that the control nodes are the furthest out. So I'm clicking on the outside of these two gray nodes and just making sure that they're not they're not inverted. So here I'm just straightening them out and taking here. That looks good. Looks good. We want fewer amount of nodes if all possible. That got a little weird. I'm gonna undo. Go back. That's fine. I mean, really, this could be done like that. Yeah, I moved it, but if I delete the one node, come in here, that's probably fine. It's a little funny over in this edge. Particularly this path right here. Just smoothing them out. Why is something's weird? My pan tool is not working while I have. That's really weird. Okay, so this is a big wonkiness gone here. I'm just going to go all the way down like that. Just hit. So it's almost straight, but it's still curved. All right, and then as far as the inside holes, so I'm going to hit save. The inside holes will use circles. And actually, let's do a oval. So just hold down on there, and then you have your oval, and you can draw the oval. This will give us a little more control over the shape. So you double click on it, and it gives you those control nodes. So I'm just kind of averaging the shape of it, because this is all hand cut, so it's not, and I'll just duplicate that over since we've already got the shape. And probably just reduce that a little bit in its width. Narrow it and then nudge it. I'm just nudging. And I want a little bit over is fine. Not too much over, because it can't hurt to go just a little bit wider. Again, I'm just duplicating over. Double click to get the control nodes. Yeah, just averaging it. That looks good. And now that template is ready. So all I have to do is select it all, deselect the that little suggestion path, and then convert it into outlines. So or contour cuts, I'm sorry. So arrange, contour cut, make contour cut, but use your shortcuts. Control Shift X is the one I programmed. Use that, please. And that is it. And you can go ahead and make your bleed background, just so it's ready to be used as a template. Choose a color, might as well make it YZ blue. Send it to the back, take the stroke off of it, because remember the contour cut or the outline inherits the stroke of this contour cut, and we don't want that extra contour cut, even though it doesn't really make a difference, but just for cleanliness, especially if we're going to do any fusing. If you fuse it, then that contour cut gray will show up inside the fused objects. So that's that. Remember to keep these things off, and then when we're ready to or keep these to the side, and when we do the artwork for the actual design, we can delete them. But for the templates, we'll keep them. That's all.